Hello, friends. Welcome to Eyes to See, where we pursue vision beyond the bullshit narrative. That's basically what people try and tell you how things are, but we want to clarify our vision to see how things really are, right? Now, the last few episodes, I have written papers and we were on a journey, and I wasn't able to continue that journey tonight. Why is my computer is just falling apart? Anyway, we tonight are going to make this short and sweet in honor of politics and current events, which this show is kind of based around. I mean, our journey through the essays, we're trying to get to the point where we're not like everybody else in terms of seeing how things are and determining what's real and what's bullshit. And we've gone on a long journey, and if you've gone with me, I appreciate it, and maybe it's made you better. But tonight, we're just going to be like everyone else. We're going to pick a side and start talking shit about politics. Oh, that's an old one. Ouch. All right, so currently, there's an election in California. Apparently, there's governor and an LA mayoral, probably some other races. And I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But we all know how fucked up California is, right? I think 162, companies. I don't know how I don't want to say Fortune 500, but big companies left the state, took their headquarters and went elsewhere. California has done the absolute best job of destroying the best land in the United States, from what I heard, allegedly. I don't know. But California has been quite the shit show for a long time. What's crazy is I think that state is propped up by the hardworking, red-blooded Americans. Look at the, I don't know if they did state. Oh, no, they were doing counties. If you look at the map of who voted red or blue in which counties, 2/3 of the state is red. Now, obviously, all the people are conglomerated into one shithole called Skid Row, where there's 150,000 homeless people. And that's just in LA, not to mention San Francisco, full of shit. Literally. So those are blue, but the majority of the state is red. However, California's notoriously always been 2-1 Democrat to Republican. So I'm just going to throw down some statements and I'm going to take off because I got things to do. For those of you that are still voting Democrat, and let me back up 1 second and say, I never voted for a Democrat or Republican for president until 2020, an election that was a little sus, as the kids say, and 24. Those 2 times I voted for Trump unashamedly. I think Trump's a gangster, and I think he runs things the way I want them run. And he makes mistakes, but, I mean, he literally just told Netanyahu, you're fucking crazy. The world fucking hates you. You're driving me nuts. I'm losing my patience. There's nothing better than Trump, and you're going to wish. Years from now, you're going to say, man, that was fun. Because when you get these fucking pencil neck, regular old politicians back in, or worse, you get the crazy ones. And that's the problem with the Democratic Party. And that's what I'm saying, is I'm not saying the Republicans are any better, but they're different. Okay? If there's a party that condones, funds, supports, trains their people on how to cheat, It's the Democrats. And this is coming from an independent guy at one point. I mean, Trump's a Democrat, in case you didn't know. New York Democrat. He jumped on the Republican side and basically just took a baseball bat to the China shop and said, we're doing things my way now. And it's been a constant battle between the rhinos and the deep state, obviously. But if you think back on it, regular old Democrats in the 90s seem somewhat reasonable now. The crazies are going farther and farther and farther to the left, so much so that Trump is now on the right. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down. Because here's the statement of all statements. Stop voting Democrat. Leave the plantation. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm saying leave the plantation. The plantation, as you may recall in an earlier chapter of our history, was where what happened? Farming. Farming happened. But how did farming happen? Because farming happens a certain way now, but it was different back then. Why? Because slaves were doing the work? You might be right. Now tractors are doing the work. That's called technology. So, the implication here is that Democrat, in my opinion, I mean, I'm just throwing it down on the table and saying Democratic voters that are lock, stock, and smoking barrel with that party are slaves. And it's no secret. I mean, rewind a little bit, Civil War. Guess where the Democrat Party came out of? The South. Guess who was the slave owners? Guess who was the Ku Klux Klan? It wasn't the Republicans, remember? Little quick history lesson. And I don't understand why Democrats don't understand this shit. It's like literally I hear commentators from YouTube saying Democrat voters are just low information voters. Is that something you're fucking proud of? Low information? Like, we can't get IDs to vote. We're so dumb we can't even get an ID to vote. But here, go ahead and just take 6 ballots for me. Like, you came out of slavery. The Democrats are the ones enslaving the population, and they are trying to tear down this country to enslave it further. So when I say leave the plantation, I'm saying get the fuck out of there. The absolute living fuck out of retardville. You got no excuses now. You can't just fucking sugarcoat it. You can't just say everyone's racist and, fuck ICE. You can't just keep saying that shit. It doesn't work anymore. We all see through it. We're done with the fucking pansy-ass, toxic empathy. Like, we can't really say anything bad about immigrants, and we can't really say anything bad about the homeless, and we can't really say anything bad about the people that are stealing all our money because they're foreigners, and we don't want to hurt their feelings. Fuck your feelings. Take your feelings, roll them up into a ball, make it like a sausage, point it in one end, and shove it up your ass. How about that? That's how I feel. Now, what gets me fired up is this guy, I don't know his first name, Pratt. Spencer Pratt? Candidate, Republican, for mayor. We need more people like him. He's like, listen, motherfuckers, I'm from California. I've been here since the day I was born. I have a house in an area that was attacked by a wildfire. And the incompetence of the government allowed it to happen. And I don't know the exact details, but my theory since I popped out of the womb and started arguing with the doctors was all government officials are corrupt. not just corrupt, but incompetent. That in general, we are run, led, ruled by midwits. And a lot of them are lawyers. Midwit lawyers that don't have eyes to see. They don't see that, hey, every city that's in shambles now is Democrat run. You might be saying, oh no, what about Memphis? Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee's a red state? Yeah, Memphis is as blue as my fucking balls. Every inner city, you know, and you don't want to say all the crimes with the black people, all those young black men are creating 50, 70, 80, 90% of the crime. You don't want to say that. Why? Because if you stop the crime, black people might not get shot so much. Because guess who black people shoot? Oh, they're black people. And if you need to look at the numbers, I'm not going to waste my time with you. Go check them out. Now, for those of us that are in our middle age here, and we, own a house, have a family, 2.5 kids and a dog, we don't want to be dodging bullets. We don't want to be getting carjacked. Actually, I kind of do. There's a little piece of me that wouldn't mind a little drama. Because a lot of these motherfuckers just need to be put in their place because they never were when they were kids. And that's the bottom line. I mean, I was a little brat too, but I ain't going out holding up convenience stores and carjacking people. And in Democrat shitholes, like New York is absolutely going to be a collapsed, failed state here soon. It's fun to watch the decline, but not when you guys are fucking up the rest of the country. You know what? All these fucking Californians left. This mass exodus of Californians leaving the state because they don't want to pay 13% state tax, 8% city tax, and however many other taxes they can shove up your ass. Now, the trust fund liberals that are, living high and mighty out there are the ones that are fucking raking it off the top. They 100% trace your money back to where it comes from. Say you go to the work at the manufacturing plant. Okay, well, they send me their money. But where does their money come from? Well, I worked at a steel mill that made oil well casing. It came from the oil fields. The companies that were out there drilling for oil, putting in wells, bought our pipes, put them in the ground for wells. And that is where the money came from. But why does the money go to them, to the oil companies? Well, because we need oil to operate and exist and live. And in my opinion, fossil fuels are the greatest technology mankind has ever experienced. From good old coal to fracking to natural gas. It's amazing. It's amazing how I can go fill up my 12. I have 12 5-gallon jugs. Try and keep them full at all times. You never know when shit hits the fan. Of gas, but I cycle through it because gas kind of goes bad anyway. It's amazing when I look at this liquid gold and I say this entire truck, this entire family on 4 of these little jugs is going to go all the way 800 miles this way and 800 miles back. That's crazy. Technology blew me away. How did we get so far off track? And I definitely said I was going to leave by now. Fossil fuels. What the fuck was I talking about? Fossil fuels. Hey, we got a comment. Maybe if you're still watching, let me know what I was talking about. Mr. Savelli. Cheers, mate. I was thinking about tattoos today myself. Wait. I'm trying to remember. Are you the tattoo guy or not? Anyway, what up? Well, I'll go back to Spencer Pratt. I think it's Spencer. It's refreshing to hear somebody say, hey, listen, I don't give a fuck about trans people. Yeah, I know I was talking about oil, but I don't know why I was talking about oil. That's the problem. But Pratt's like, yeah, that's right. I was thinking about tattoos today. I wonder if I could handle them anymore in my old age. Got to get a couple on the arms, which aren't terrible, but anyway, this guy has a refreshing take on the degradation of society. Now, if you want to live your perverted ways, you keep it to yourself. You can't have zombie land, people smoking super meth and doing fentanyl all through your city. You can't have it. And it's going to fester as long as you allow it. And he's like, I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're, whatever. We all want to live in a safe place. And California has all the potential in the world. You got all the people. You got gazillions of dollars. Let me give you a little bit of advice. Stop taxing the shit out of people and let the businesses grow, and then actually just stop putting up with bullshit. Oh, I think I was talking about corruption. Oh yeah, where does your money come from? I got it. So I'm thinking back to where my money came from when I worked at the mill. And maybe you yourself can think. Say, Mr. Savelli, you're working full-time, let's say. Full-time, 100% tattoo income, balling out. Although I think I remember you saying that you're just beginning. Maybe rookie year or something. But anyway, you're an artist and people are coming and giving you their money because they want your art. That's a direct one-to-one correlation. Now, let's put the microscope on these politicians and their friends in high places that run the state of California. Colorado's not far off. And how is it that there's so much like exponential fraud that comes from taxpayer money? So if you trace your money back, say, old Sally down the street figured out from Jenny because Steve told her that if you create 6 LLCs and you register them in these abandoned buildings, you can say that they're home health care businesses, and you can start billing Medicaid for all these home health care things that you never do, also known as fraud and corruption, right? So all these midwits are figuring it out, and they're like, well, I'm not going to rat on you. If you don't rat on me, we're all making money. So let's just keep a good thing going. Where does that fucking money come from? Where does it come from? The government is dishing out checks out of ignorance, out of incompetence, and out of corruption. Pure and simple corruption. Now, if you analyze the amount of corruption on one side or the other, you would see exponentially. I mean, it's almost like there's teaching classes and they're creating universities to teach people how to be corrupt, to teach people how to burn their own cities down, to teach people how to sow chaos and division, to teach people how to scam the system with Medicaid fraud. And at some point, I mean, I'm from New Mexico. That's straight up 2-1 Democrat. And in my opinion, it doesn't have the ocean, but it's a fantastic landscape, also known as the land of enchantment. The Democrats have ruined the state. And they weren't all that bad years and years ago. They were like red-blooded, freedom-loving, give me my guns and let me keep them Democrats that ranched, that farmed, that were hard people. But then all these softies from fucking California came out here because they sold their little apartment for $1.8 million and they built a mansion in freaking the mountains of New Mexico. And then they start to run for mayor of their little town. And then before you know it, 10, 15 years down the road, every little fucking corner of that state is pussified from Californians. I'm not mincing any words tonight. Judge a tree by its fruit. Look at the state of New Mexico. Look at the state of wherever you're at. My daughter's in France right now, and it's scaring the shit out of me. But I'd like to think that it's a perfectly clean city where everyone treats everyone with respect and there's no crime. Are there cities like that exist anywhere in the world? Yes, there are. And I'll tell you where. Japan, for one. There's many, but Japan. They do not tolerate bullshit. You know, look at the societies in, I don't know, Uzbekistan and Turkestan and Turkey and the Middle East. I mean, what do they have to show for? I mean, their peak was 2,000 years ago, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. Like, you're literally living in mud huts, fucking goats, and your own sons. Afghanistan. Don't believe me? Look it up. So look at all these societies, and what do you have to show for your shit? You know, you can look to Norway and see they've done a pretty good job. Sweden, pretty good job. Finland, Iceland, all these Norwegian countries run a tight ship. You might say, well, they're socialist. Are they, though? Because I tell you what, now that they're opening their doors, where they were 99% ethnically the same, now their bleeding heart liberals are saying toxic empathy has overcome my soul and we must let immigrants into our country from Africa and the Middle East. Well, they come with a different culture. And wouldn't you know it, but they fuck things up. And that's what you're seeing in Great Britain now and much of Europe. Europe is getting destroyed because of toxic empathy and corrupt politicians who are allowing the infiltration, you know, assimilation and cultural assimilation. The U.S. was the textbook picture of that. Other countries weren't. Japan isn't going to let anyone into their fucking country. Not even the Koreans. Definitely not the Chinese. No Russians. I mean, you can visit, but you can't become a citizen. We fucking hand out citizenships in the U.S. like they're goddamn bags of potato chips. You get a citizenship. You get a citizenship. You get a citizenship. I know you haven't done anything for it, but come on in. We'll take anyone and everyone. At some point, that shit has to stop. And that's where I think people are, 80%. Democrats and Republicans across the board, 80% of this country wants to shut down the border and say, hey, just figure out immigration from a reasonable perspective. Allow people that have been vetted in, that want to work hard, contribute. That's it. Birthright citizenship? Nonsense. Fucking bullshit. I think if your parents weren't born in this country, when you're born in this country, Either they or you have to work for your citizenship. You have to earn it. And you might say, well, did you earn yours? No. But I am the 15th, or not me, but my son, is the 15 generations of my name born or buried on this soil in the United States. Not 7, not 4, not 2, 15. So one might be able to say, look back on my line. Look at the work we've done. Look at what we built. Look at the legacy we left. You don't get to come in here from your fucking third world country and shit all over it. You know, a lot of these places shit in the street. They shit in ditches. Like, we've gotten past that. We don't need to go backwards, okay? You fucking progressives, you want to progress. Where the fuck are you progressing when you allow this shit? Progressing back to the third world. That's what you're doing. The entire world wants to be like the United States from the 50s on. From the end of World War II, the golden era of Hollywood. The U.S. was the most prosperous nation in the history of the world over a short period of time. And now everybody looks to the U.S. to speak English. I mean, if that doesn't show you where we stand, take a little responsibility here for yourself. Say, hey, we got something good here. And imagine if we made it better. What does it take to make it better? Well, you got to stop voting for the wrong fucking people. So again, stop voting Democrat. Leave the plantation. You're a slave of thinking if you're over there. And, you know, no offense, but take it. Check the comments before we bounce. Mr. Savelli, the fraud is definitely taught behavior, and the entire point of the population is for demographic shift regarding home care fraud. You got to understand, we have to teach the small immigrants how to use indoor appliances. The fraud was kind of sophisticated. Yeah, but what they do is you got one person that knows how to do it. Trust me, I've been in and out of criminal underground worlds as a journalist, allegedly. And you always got one smart whippersnapper, and then you have levels beneath them. The demographic shift it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not saying we need to be what we were. I'm saying we can grow into something new. We can grow into something with Somalians. We can grow into something with whatever, Africans, Europeans, or Asians, Middle Easterners, whatever. But we have to grow to the same thing. You can't just come in and fuck everything up the way we want it. And corruption is intolerable to those of us at the bottom of the barrel in the social, political, economic hierarchy of the United States. The people that are red-blooded, dirty fingernails, dirty hands, working hard. What do they say? Dirty hands, clean money. The last thing you ever want. I can't stand paying taxes. I can't stand fucking paying sales tax. That drives me nuts. Actually, we just got a freaking air conditioner put in the house. I don't know what the tax on it was, like $1,500. I'm like, for the city, the county, and the state. They all took a little piece of what? Of what? A service installation of some high-priced equipment. Why? You might say, well, somebody's got to pay taxes. You got to get the government running. Okay, cut the government in half, number one. Number two, in case you hadn't heard, there's other ways to raise money. Number 3, when you cut your taxes, you allow the economy to grow to a bigger pie. So if you're taking a 5% slice of that pie, of a 100 pie, say you're taking a 5% slice of 100 pie, or a 10% slice. You're taking a 10% slice of 100 pie. That's 10 pieces, we'll say. If you drop the rate to 5% and the pie grows to 200, 5% of 200 is the same as 10% of 100. And that kind of math doesn't work for the low information voters. No, I'm not standing here. I've been the absolute critic of all sides of government because of what I see in terms of corruption. Good old boy. I mean, it's from, like you said, fraud is a taught behavior. I grew up in a fraudulent community. As a youth, I learned all the scams, and how people were scamming. And it never appealed to me. I didn't even like stealing things. But these little hoodlums would steal everything. And their parent would be on government assistance and they wouldn't be working, or they'd try and walk into the grocery store and slip on a banana peel and sue the grocery store. It's like, that's not a way to live, people. Do good work. Provide something of value to the community. And we work together to make things better. I don't know why it's so hard to run a society. Apparently now it's the toxic empathy that's tearing us down. No, one of my best friends, first generation American born on this soil. His dad not born on the soil. And I'd die for them. We go hunting every year. You know, I would carry their ass out of the backcountry. They had a heart attack or something. It's not about where you're from. It's about, why are you here? Are you here to steal from the government and the taxpayer? Drive a Mercedes? Wear fancy clothes? But still do all the same shit you did in your third world country? Okay, well, that's not going to fly. We're done with it. And that's the immigration thing. Interesting to see about California because, as you know, like, there's a groundswell of support for that reasonable thinking candidate for governor that's Republican, and then this Pratt guy for LA mayor. There's this huge groundswell, and they're all sad that. So there's 30 people that run for mayor of LA. They have an election. The top 2 go to a runoff, unless number 1 has 50%. Well, the incumbent, Karen Bass, eked out a lead, but Spencer Pratt was close behind. And then third place was kind of a distance back, but nobody's willing to call the election. And not only that, but they're saying, 49% of the votes haven't been counted. What number is that? That's 2 million. The next day, because it's election month. It's like an election month. It's not election day. The next day, they're like, yeah, we thought it was 2 million, but there's still 3 million. Well, there's still 2.5 million, but we're pretty sure there's going to be 3 million. Okay, well, of all the new votes came in, they should be relatively the same percentage, right, of the first ones? And if they're not, something might be fishy. Like, Oh, I think a big old ballot dump came in, and wouldn't you know it, but Pratt got 0 votes out of the ballot dump. I think it was like 10,000 votes. He got 0. Where he's getting 28, 30% of the overall vote to that point, and then you put in 10,000 more votes and there's 0. Yeah. I don't vote. Yeah. I'm not advocating you do. But there is a danger in being led by mindless people. Midwits, I say midwits. What is the saying? Oh, I thought I almost had that shirt on. It's like weak men. Oh my goodness, it's going to drive me nuts. To be ruled by weak men. Oh, it's not going to be on there, is it? Well, I posted a lot during COVID. That was some horse shit. Good times, good times. Well, I don't see it, but you know what it is. Something about being real. Let me ask the freaking internet. Quote. No, that's not the one. Still an appropriate quote. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. We like good times. I like good times. Good times create weak men, though. And weak men create hard times. Come on, Google. That's it. This thought is widely attributed to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Let's have a look. We found it. We found it. Now, I many times didn't vote, but when I did vote, like the Dos Equis guy, when I did vote, I voted for libertarians. Third party, Ross Perot, Gary Johnson, Ron Paul. And how do I share? I forgot how to do this. There we go. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Okay, here we go. The quote you're looking for is, quote, "The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. This thought is widely attributed to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. It stems from his famous philosophical text, The Republic, of which I have read twice. Over time, this core sentiment has been translated, paraphrased, and modernized into several well-known variations that link political inaction directly to poor governance. The penalty good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. I definitely have a t-shirt that says this. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. And that's the point. Because I'm in Colorado, dude. We were the home of creating mail-in balloting. It's only mail-in balloting. The easiest form of elections to rig. Not only that, but they created the machines that count the fucking votes here. In Colorado. The Democrats did. And wouldn't you know it, but over the past 15 years, a thick, red-blooded, red state, Colorado has now turned to blue. The punishment the wise suffer, who refuse to take part in the government, is to live under the government of worse men. In its original context in the Republic, Book 1, Plato is not simply talking about casting a ballot in an election. He is arguing that good, honest, and intelligent people generally have no natural desire to seek power or rule over others, as I feel you demonstrate, Mr. Savelli, in that quote. He's arguing that honest, intelligent people don't have any desire to rule over others. However, he warns that if decent citizens refuse to step up and participate in public life, they leave a dangerous vacuum. That vacuum is inevitably filled by those with lesser motives, the dishonest, the incompetent, or the downright malicious. Therefore, taking an interest in public affairs is a duty to protect oneself from tyranny. And I wish we lived in a world where we didn't have to. A world where we were governed by wiser men. Honest men. Good, honest, intelligent. But we're not. And step 1, leave the plantation. All right, any more comments? Nope, I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out. Savelli. And I will see you. Actually, I'm going to take a few days off, going out of town. Gonna go play some golf. Take the boat out. Maybe I'll take some videos and I'll put them on here. Why are we doing that? Because your boy needs a little break. So I'm going to be back on Tuesday, I think. Monday or Tuesday. Whichever one I put up. I'll do a grow show. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, this old man's running in a track meet with his son. My 14-year-old son and my 49-year-old ass. We went out to practice today. And I felt like I was 75 years old. But he will be competing in the high jump and the javelin. And I will be competing in the high jump and the javelin. And he will also be running the 100. And I will not run the 100. I will run it eventually, and I'll keep you posted on what my time is. It's probably going to be around 18 seconds. I wouldn't be far-fetched to think. My 400 time is 1:30, 93 seconds. Yeah. Which is crazy because, well, I realized I weigh 30, 40 pounds more than I did when I graduated high school. And that's the difference. But in high school, I could run 55, 57 seconds, no problem. For the 400. And now I'm at 90, almost double that. So if you're doing a 90-second 400, that's how many 22.5-second hundreds? Yeah. So my question would be, can I break 20 seconds in the 100? For those of you that are in the track, you know what it's like. It's just all about numbers, distances, times, heights. And today I jumped 4.6 in practice and couldn't get 4.8, 4'8". When I was in high school, I jumped 6'4". I was consistently jumping over 6 feet over my head, my height, my entire senior year. I think I got over 6 feet my junior year. And I couldn't imagine getting 5 feet now. But I'll keep you informed. Maybe I'll do some steroids or some peptides or something, and we'll get all jacked up because they ain't drug testing. And as long as I beat my son in the first meet, then I can say, boom, I beat him. Because we're jumping right at the same. Like, I think he cleared 4.8 today. And that's his PR. And mine is 4.10 from a few weeks ago. But today I only jumped 4.6. So we're going to be neck and neck there. Probably neck and neck in the javelin. We went out and practiced and we're throwing footballs and stuff. And we were right at the same spot. So a little 14-year-old whippersnapper is going to beat me hands down going forward. But we can't have that. We can't start out that way. We have to start out by establishing dominance as the hierarchy of the male hierarchy. I'm the dad, son. I will win the first meet. You can win the second, but I got to win one. I don't know. It'll be fun. I'll keep you informed. Maybe not on this show, but some of the shows. All right. Good night.